Hi, everybody. I think we're ready to get started. So thanks for coming to our hot topic session on Econtent Access. So my name's Hank Sway. I am the product manager for EasyProxy at OCLC. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that are out there regarding Econtent Access. And the way that I am going to formulate them is in the form of problem statements. So when we are building products at OCLC, we want to be very clear about what the specific problems we are addressing with those solutions are. In other words, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to make easier for either library patrons, library staff, other stakeholders, etc. So I've got 4 problem statements we're going to quickly address here. All right. So the first of these problems is that it's simply growing more and more complex to access e-content. What we're seeing is that access methods are sort of proliferating one over the other. One provider will allow certain types of access, support certain single sign-on methods, but not others. We're also seeing that it's really just becoming increasingly difficult to stitch together different authentication methods, different ways of accessing things to create sort of a coherent environment for your users that's easy to understand how to get to the content they want to get to. We're also hearing a lot about SAML-based access to e-content. So SAML is Security Assertion Markup Language. Somebody always asks what it stands for. But it's a certain single sign-on protocol for accessing e-resources. And not all content providers support it yet. So it's one of many kind of growing trends, but it's not fully saturated yet. There's an initiative out there called RA21, Resource Access for the 21st Century. It's a joint initiative of NISO and the STM Publishing Group. We believe that we're active participants in RA21, and we do believe that RA21 is going to accelerate the move towards SAML-based access to e-content as opposed to IP-authenticated access. That said, it's going to be a very slow transition. If IP access goes away in 5 years, I would be surprised. If it goes away in 10 years, I would be less surprised, but still maybe a little bit surprised. But our commitment is that EasyProxy will be there through that transition, and we're also investigating what a SAML-only offering may look like in the future. But we do want to be compliant with those RA21 recommendations as they come out. Credential management. This is kind of an old problem, but it's becoming a more pervasive problem, I would say. So, as these single sign-on methods proliferate, so do your user accounts, right? So you have more and more usernames and passwords to manage. You start using the same password on multiple sites, which we all know is not a good thing, but everybody does it. So that's just another issue that we're experiencing. Finally, user privacy is a big one. So protecting user privacy is really a core library value. In practice, it's kind of more important to some libraries than others. But what we're coming up against is that we want to maintain our patrons' privacy, but we also want to get robust access to user statistics, which often compromises that user privacy. So when we are reliant on our content providers to provide usage statistics to us, we often need to give over a lot of that user information to them. So it's kind of an all-or-nothing proposition. It's hard to get those good statistics without giving away user information, essentially. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we are overcoming some of these challenges with EasyProxy now. So first of all, implementing EasyProxy, particularly our hosted solution, is very simple. So as these single sign-on methods proliferate, everybody wants you to add another way of authenticating into content, but we're able to provide access to a full portfolio of e-resource subscriptions through a single solution. And migrating to the hosted service, if you currently run your own EasyProxy server, is also a very straightforward process because you've already done the configuration and all of that. All you would typically need to do is register a new IP address with your library's content vendors, so that's pretty easy. EasyProxy also continues to provide access to those long-tail content providers that don't yet support SAML. So you can run in mixed mode between SAML and IP proxy. In fact, that's almost what you have to do these days if your institution uses a SAML-based solution. EasyProxy uses existing library authentication methods. It integrates with your institution's library auth system. So that means a couple different things. One, it means your user doesn't need to remember another set of credentials. Two, it also means that we're not implementing EasyProxy is not implementing a whole new identity management system for your institution. It's really a library-controlled e-resource access portal, essentially. So using those existing credentials is really a very good move for users. Finally, EasyProxy is generally an application that's maintained within the libraries. In some cases, the campus IT department maintains it, but it's controlled by the institution in one form or another. And it really maintains that level of library control and trust. And by its very nature, EasyProxy provides a layer of anonymity between the user and the content provider. So as transactions move through the EasyProxy server, you can really capture a lot of robust usage data right there on that server. And you don't need to be relying on those content providers to share counter reports and that sort of thing with you. So there's many advantages in that domain. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some current and recent enhancements that we have made to EasyProxy. So the first of these is the integration of a security API that is from our partners, Publisher Services International, otherwise known as PSI. So what the security API allows you to do is either audit or block access from certain IP addresses. And PSI maintains a database of IP addresses that are known to be associated with pirate or hacker activity. So you can automatically turn away users coming from those IPs via your EasyProxy server. So that's going to really reduce the amount of sifting through log files that you need to do to look to investigate compromised accounts, that sort of thing. Your proxy server IP won't get shut down by vendors as much. So that's an exciting new feature. That's available now in EasyProxy version 6.5. So either standalone customers or our hosted customers as well can take advantage of that. We're also developing a EasyProxy analytics module. So as I mentioned, there's lots of data in those EasyProxy logs that you can get to. However, the raw data itself is very difficult to work with, or it can be very difficult to work with. So we're offering a package that would make it much easier to create visualizations based on that data and run custom reports and queries on that data. That's going to be available this calendar year. Initially, it will be an add-on offering for our hosted customers, but if there's sufficient interest from the standalone EasyProxy community, we'll investigate options for how that could be deployed as well. All right. So that's all I have for you in this very brief lightning talk here.